those who just now watching this is one of a couple of few platforms that I have that's in the pre-K stage. I've been on YouTube for over a decade, watching it grow and change. Not really partaking in it so much as I have so many subscribers. If you like, hit the like and subscribe. I'm on here. This is a whole new experience in this life I'm living. What I mean by that is, I've been a companion with another for 20 years. And just this morning, I really let her go. I was walking across the street. I saw a squirrel run across the street. Then I saw a worm struggling. And the color of it was showing that the worm was dehydrated because it was on the concrete and just made it a shadow split where the shadow of the fence was dividing the concrete between the shadow and the sunlight that was drying the worm out. And I saw it struggling. It just made it out of the sunlight. So I just picked up a stick, lifted it up, and threw it in the moist grass. It's like I felt that worm said thank you. Now I'm going to talk about that. Feeling confirmed thoughts to a certain extent. And in that case, I felt that in some way, some kind, that worm was thankful. Like a sense of relief. And I kept walking. And there's this store, this barbershop in the corner that I walked by for a few years. And I was walking towards the corner before the barbershop. I got to the four corners and I said a prayer to my internal, a prayer that will send a reverberation of, I guess, awareness to a point back in my head where my skull and my neck meets, the 33 vertebrae. The energy that exists back there is called Elegba. Eshu, the crossroad. And after I said the prayer, I walked across the street. The trash truck came by, and I listened inward, and the internal voice said, "Speak to that man," meaning the man who has the barbershop on the corner I walked by for years. His name was Joe. I think Marilina. He's Italian. You know what I mean? And off the back, I knew his bloodline go back to Moors. You know what I mean? See, a lot of Italians, I can understand. They may not think, they have a sense of blackness in them. Or Moors, because he was from Sicily. So I knew he had more in him, because, the Moors, we ran through that shit like for 800 years, you know what I mean? So, but anyway, it was kind of interesting talking to this man because Joe had me for at least 20 years, maybe 25. He was in his barber shop, walking around by himself. And I never see no one in there but him. It's like a barber shop that's just, it's timeless. It's like it's stuck in the, I would say, the late 50s, early 60s. Every time I walk past this barber shop, all I see is that man in there. But I never speak. I would never, maybe once he might have waved, but we confronted each other in the corner. We were sharing information, and I began speaking. And when I really think about it, this man was like, not in a sense of shock or fear, just, whoa. And we talked about different things, and there was some nukes, of awareness, We, he's from a generation before. I was born in '74. He was from, so when I was born, he was probably 20 years old. You know what I mean? And maybe older. Who knows? But from his generation to mine to this tip of we into now, this here, we was talking how we could see the differences and what's going on. And we talked about money and Bitcoin, and I gave him some insight what Bitcoin was based off what I knew, the little shit that I know, and he was like, "Oh, you know what I mean?" And when I was talking to him, I knew one day I would be at his age. I saw it. But what was funny was when I left to go for the walk, I was thinking about, the now. What can I do in this now to secure the type of future I want financially? I never knew anything about assets, investing. I never knew anything about liabilities. I never knew anything about residual income. Um, Now I do. So when the money was flowing, I didn't know these things. I was just in the moment. I was influenced off of drug dealers in the corner who made so much money, but they blew it. You know, tomorrow ain't promised. Da da da. And it was just the now, the quick satisfactory. That's because I didn't know it myself. I mean, you look back, a lot of those guys who sold those drugs, who got things, was insecure. They needed things to validate themselves based off the environment they came from, where they grew up around. And what's funny about it is, if you really look back at it, it's like they were showing off to a bunch of broke people. It's like you broke. Your money is garbage. You got none. You just straight rabbit like, I mean, pocket looking like rabbit ears. And then you get all this money, and you feel like you accomplished something because bills are being paid, you feed your mouth, you're able to buy clothes, better sneakers, better shoes, you want to look good. And the funny shit is you look good around the very people that you was just in poverty with, you know what I mean? So you showing off the broke people. It don't make no sense, you know what I mean? You buying these fancy cars, you're around a bunch of people who ain't got fancy cars, they wish to have fancy cars, and then that triggers hate, and hate, comes to people who just insecure don't know themselves, like you don't know yourself, and you being ego showing off the fucking car when it's like, hey, why you taunting me, nigga? Like, you got a nice car, nice thing, you should be moving the fuck on. You wanna ride around the hood and, ooh, look what I got, I'm better than you. But you ain't putting nobody on. So that's what stick up kids come at. But anyway, talking to the guy felt better. It felt like, it was confirmation because he was saying things that was just like validating, reminding me again the practice of my purpose or the goal of my practice to obtain a purpose. That make any sense? I'm thankful for the conversation with Joe. He dropped a nuke on me. My last name is Wright. My first name is Sylvan. It's spelled Sylvon. But if you flip it, it's novelist. Novelist is a writer. So that's Wright. So, and I've been an illustrator for years. Look behind me, you can see, paintings and canvases over there. It's an art studio. This is where I reside in my environment. And when he said, the last thing in the closing of the conversation before I was letting him go back to his business and me return to mine, he said something to me that where I was just so quiet because I'm like, oh shit, like it's like when you talk with somebody or somebody talk to you and it's a internal vibrational frequency where they say something and it corresponds with it's equivalent to the internal feeling you have what they saying. Like it was like a message. It felt like the universe was speaking into him to me. Like he was teaching me something that he didn't know he was doing it. He was reminding me of something or speaking something into me that I was just quiet for like a few seconds. Like, oh shit. And based on the conversation he was having, he was like, hey, you're a real positive guy, you should share this with people, the way you think, it can affect people and change the world type joke. Then he says, you should write a book. And that's when I got quiet and looked at him. And when he said that, I immediately turned inward and validated the confirmation. I used to give praises to some God or higher power of what I was taught outside of me as I was conversating with this elder guy named Joe, Marvelina, Italian man named Joe. I knew there was something in there for me. He said I should write a book. And I knew that. And when he said it, it was like a reminder. Because when I started my walk around the corner, around the block, the first conversation I came up with before I asked the question, what's my purpose? What am I here to do? I said, I'm gonna make me put out a book, a graphic novel. I've been doing illustrations for years, And I think it's time to connect the illustration with the story, telling that I have that I barely tap into. I feel there's a source to people's talent. And when you tap into it, you express the talent based on how you express it. But me, right now, that's Tigress. She's a good girl. But with me right now, I got a sense of clarity, as such as a direction, like a little blueprint. You know, I had a flash of like I experienced a blueprint moment when you experience in that moment, in the now of your existence, in the circumference of your awareness, you experience a blueprint where you can see the direction that you need to go. And based on experience with this art that I was doing for many years, it's called, I have an Instagram page called Iroctis, IROCDIS, IROCDIS. That's Instagram Iroctis and Iroctis.com. You know, and I just display all my illustrations of my work there, you know. So, but it was it was a great experience. I'm thankful for, and my time is running up. I'm 17 minutes soon to be in, and the closing of this is be mindful. Be mindful of yourself and invert your awareness to where we've been taught what to think, but practice how to think. Invert your awareness to your internal. I got my message to the day. I had to share it. I'm thankful. Thank for those who are watching. Please subscribe, follow, hit the likes. Appreciate it. I'm gonna be here a lot more doing this, you know. So you know, have a great day. 'Cause I'm having one right now. Breathing brings you into yourself. As I inhale, I feel more of myself. So you have a great day, y'all. And thank you. I'll be back to talk to myself some more.